Good evening. Welcome to the Sunday night edition of Spurs Diehards TTID Tottenham Till I Die, a special show tonight. I'll go through the rest of the guests shortly. Tom will be joining us as soon as he can. As my mum always said, beware of fast women and slow computers, and tonight he seems to be suffering from a slow computer. But bottom right of the screen, a special welcome to a Yorkshire lady, Jess, JS from JSY Talks Football. Good evening, Jess.
Good evening, Ian. How are we doing, Matt?
Yeah, we're doing good. There'll be a few of our regulars that won't know you. I know some will from some of the. Here's Tom now. There he is. Who maybe aren't familiar with your show and you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your show?
Yeah, I've been on YouTube about 18 months now. Grown it on my own. Got a really good affiliation with Spurs fans, actually, at Spurs channels. We have a lot of fans in. Do lots of different watch-alongs, but yeah, I'm a Leeds United fan. So I'll just come on to give my opinion on yesterday's game.
Well, we're certainly going to get a lot of your take on the game. That'll be a new one for me. Normally, I've just got Spurs people on, and in fact, one of the people just saying hi is Ryan, who's a Wolves supporter. So yeah, good evening, Ryan. Couple of our regulars with us tonight. Zookeeper Tom. Good evening, Tom. How are you tonight?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I couldn't be better. And Callum Stubbs, Cal, good evening to you too.
Evening, mate. Evening. Yeah, it's been a long week for me. I'm not going to lie. So it's nice to actually do something normal instead of getting hit by a car or something like that. Let's put it that way.
You wouldn't do a stupid thing like that, would you?
No, I wouldn't. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't be sitting cack-handed like this at the moment, trying not to put pressure on my right-hand side.
Yeah, well, sorry about that. Yeah, don't walk into cars. Well, we finished Leeds 1, Spurs 2, and we will go through the key incidents in the game. But Jess, let me start with you. Because you'll be more familiar than any of us with your team, your players, your best team, your best formations. What did you make of that starting 11?
Well, we had Dan James out. He's out till November. Wilfred Nanto's out as well. And our first choice goalkeeper, Perry's out till after the international break. So we've gone with that team for the last two games. So for me, I wasn't really shocked with Daniel Farke's starting 11. That's probably our best 11. But I'd have personally liked to see Tanaka start and maybe drop Stack.
Okay, because he came on, but we will certainly talk about that as we go through. I mean, it looked to me, Jess, that the formation was very much 4-1-4-1 with Okafor playing between the midfield and the defence, and we've got a spelling mistake there, but Calvert-Lewin playing as a sort of the low man up front. Is that how you played? Because when I looked at the formation on the BBC site, it lined you up very much as a 4-3-3 and us as a 4-2-3-1, whereas we play 4-3-3. And as I say, you looked to me like you were 4-1-4-1.
Yeah, normally it plays that system. The issue with Leeds United for me is, if we watched that game yesterday, it's the attacking front three for Leeds.
Is what? Sorry, say that again.
The attacking front three for Leeds United. It kind of showed itself yesterday, didn't it, really, in the game? But I'm sure you will get into that. But that's normally how he plays it. We have a lone striker. It was normally Perot last season, but he's been dropped down to the bench.
Certainly going to be talking about Mr. Calvert-Lewin later in the show. Tom, let me bring you in. Of course, I didn't introduce Adrian. I always forget about Adrian.
I did notice that.
Adrian's only the sort of the founder of the show. He's there so much you don't notice him here. Adrian, let me start with you.
A man who needs no introduction. Yeah.
Again, starting 11. Let's talk about the Spurs starting 11. Let's get your view on that. Was that what you expected?
Yeah, I didn't expect Tell to start. I've got to be honest. I wanted Odegaard to start because he's our only natural left winger, and why that's an issue in the team. I just want him to get as many games under his belt. And actually, I thought he did okay, but I thought we'll get into that. So, yeah. So I didn't think Tell would start. let's face it, we can't keep playing Richie all the time either, can we? I mean, even when we come back. And and I think he's getting game times in the league because when we do come back from the international break, we've got Villa at home and then we've got Monaco away. Well, Tell can't play in the Monaco game. He's not in the squad. So I can see why Frank's rotating. And actually, I thought Tell played really well, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I think Cal, your idea of the starting lineup, was that what you were hoping for?
A little bit, yeah. I think it would have been nice if, I guess it's a little bit sentimental, but maybe Gray played well in the last sort of Doncaster in their last 2 cameos he had against Wolves and Bodo. So I think maybe that might have been nice for him to make an appearance. But other than that, I thought this was probably a game for Tell because Richie was less than useless in the week again, to be honest. So, yeah, I was quite happy with it within reason. We ain't really got much else to change for, have we?
No, well, that's perhaps part of the problem. Tom, again, I mean, I must say I rather thought he would start with Gray, but I wasn't unhappy with that starting lineup.
No, I wasn't unhappy with it. To be honest with you, it's kind of, like I've said this a few times now, it's kind of the nice thing that actually with Thomas Frank, you don't quite know what the starting 11's going to be. Which if we as fans can't really predict what the starting 11's going to be, that makes it hard for the opposition team to kind of plan anything for what we're doing. It was nice to see him give Simmons an opportunity in the sort of number 10 attacking midfielder role from the beginning. That was probably the most refreshing thing for me. And I think, obviously Richarlison's had a few not so great games, so giving Tell that opportunity was a good thing to do as well. But yeah, I mean the defense kind of picks itself really. I think the only thing with the defense is just if we're playing, sorry Jesse, but if we're playing like stronger teams that are more like at the top, then I think Spence has shown that he is defensively more sound than Udogie, so he probably comes in for that. But actually, when you're trying to take the game to the other team, then Udogie makes a lot more sense because he's got much more attacking presence about him than Spence.
Yeah, Jess, did you have any sort of thoughts on the Spurs team that started? Did you have any? I know you follow Spurs quite closely, and you've got an affinity with our club.
The only one I was quite shocked at was Tell playing, but to be fair, he played a masterstroke, didn't he, Frank? Because I thought that's one of Tell's better games that he had against Leeds. I thought he played really well yesterday. Can't lie. Yeah. But Tell were I thought Richie would start. I can't lie. Maybe Spence.
Yeah, I think that's our best choice back four, if I'm honest, particularly if we're going defensively. Callum, let me bring you back in. I was critical of Frank because I thought he got it wrong. He played Bentancur and Polinia at home to Wolves, where I don't think we needed 2 defensive midfield players, and only played one against Bodo away when we needed 2. But my view was playing Bentancur and Polinia really freed up Simmons to do what Simmons does best, and that's run at players and try and pick passes.
Yeah, no, it sort of worked a little bit yesterday. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, have been questioning Bentancur a little bit. The same with Paulinia, thinking that they can be quite negative in their play within reason. I maybe would have gone for a more balanced view yesterday compared to, say, playing both of them against Bodo. I would have rather probably seen Sarr, Paulinia, Simmons yesterday, if you get what I mean, to give a little bit more mobile in midfield, because I think that Bentancur is still afraid to make them darting runs forward and have that sort of sweeping role that he used to for us. But no, seeing Simmons naturally in a 10 was a positive yesterday, and you can see he's got flicks and tricks, which I was happy for, to be honest.
Tom, does playing 2 defensive or defense-minded players give Simmons the freedom to really what they call the free roll in the 10 to just go express himself?
I think Yes, to a certain extent. But the problem with playing Bentancur and Paulinho is then getting the ball to Simmons. Like, they're not progressive. Well, Bentancur is having to be a progressive passer, but he doesn't really have that about him. He doesn't really play. You know, if you're playing Simmons in the 10 and then you've got your defensive midfielders, you need them to be able to sort of like play in between, like through the midfield, the opposition's midfield, to get the ball to Simmons. And Bentancur and Paulinho don't really have that sort of ability about them, or maybe not necessarily the ability or the confidence to be able to play those kind of fast, risky balls. Like, if you're going to get Simmons in the best positions, you need to get the ball to him quickly when he's found that space, not take 4 or 5 touches before it kind of reaches him. And I think for me, I know obviously we'll get onto some of this a bit later. I think obviously quite clearly we all look at the left wing position and look at that as an area of weakness for us. But I really think we do need a deeper midfielder who can actually pass the ball direct through the lines and progress the ball quicker to our attackers to give them the opportunity to do what they can do. But we don't have that luxury.
Is Archie Gray that player? Or at least should Archie Gray get the chance to show if he's that player?
No.
I mean, Jesse's probably better to see. She's probably seen more of Archie Gray than we have in terms of a midfield role. And so, although he played quite a lot of right back for Leeds in that championship thing, I think he is another defensive midfielder. I think Paulinho, Bentancur, and Archie Gray are all kind of interchangeable as that kind of more defensive-minded midfielder. You then have Bergvall, who is kind of, and Sarr, who are more kind of box-to-box, driving with the ball at their feet kind of players. We don't have a passer. In that sort of amongst those sort of 2 deeper positions, like of the 5 midfielders we've got, we don't have a passer, and I think that's what's the only thing that's kind of letting us down at this present moment in time.
Jess, let me bring you in. We're going to talk about Vicario in more depth, probably the Spurs people more than yourself, but we're going to talk about Vicario later in the show. But 6 minutes, he comes for a cross. He's in no man's land, and the player that we know Roden, hits the post.
Yeah, he's got a mistake in him, and Vicario. To be fair, I will say that. I thought he were unlucky, Rodon. To be fair, I thought it had gone in. To be quite honest with you, but yeah, he has got a mistake in him. He parries a lot, does Vicario? That's what I've noticed. He just won't catch it. He parries it. If you look at that goal, really, that were a gift. What we scored a bit later on, that were a gift from Vicario. I can't lie.
Yeah.
It would have tapped in for Okafor, wasn't it? Let's be honest. But if he'd have just caught it, but just parries it straight to our player, that's your weak point for me is Vicario. I can't lie. Yeah. I find Vicario very nervous.
Should Roden have scored, Jess?
I thought it was quite an hard angle to get that in from, but yeah, ideally it would have been nice for him to get that in. But Rodon don't score many. I can't lie. He hasn't scored many for Leeds, but yeah, he should have scored. It would have been nice. It might have been different if he got the first one.
Changes the game if you're 1 up in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Tom, Cal, I'll bring you in after because the question really is for old people. Adrian,
I know ageism would come into it sooner or later. It always does.
Yeah, I know. We're of an age where, I mean, when I was growing up, we had Pat Jennings and Leeds had Gary Sprake.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them, I mean, Sprake had a mistake in him as well, but he could catch the bloody ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat Jennings could catch it one-handed, and Ray Clements and Joe Corrigan and all the goalkeepers of our generation would never dream of punching and parrying the ball the way they do now.
Yeah, well, we've got Fabian Otte in, and he was at Liverpool. He's in German. He's a good goalkeeping coach. We've also got an academy coach, goalkeeping coach promoted as well. You're hoping that they're working with Vicario, sorting things out, because even when we've seen Kinski, he let one slip through his hands against Villa. And when Austin went in, he let one slip through his hand. So now the fan base are getting a bit toxic over Vicario and that. But look, we are where we are. We can't change things. I'd love to see Gunter brought into the fray. I really would. I really rate him. But he's out on loan, isn't he? So, yeah. So we are with the goalkeepers. And but Vicario, he does pull off these impossible saves. I mean, he
Yeah.
did 2 Leeds, didn't he? He saved that one with his foot, and in extra time,
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it when I commented in our WhatsApp group here.
Yeah.
He strong wrist to push one away, and that was looking at 2-2, and we couldn't have complained at 2-2 because it was a good game. The Leeds played well, you know.
It was a cracking game. I haven't really mentioned that. There are 127 of you, which is not bad. The audience tends to grow as the evening goes on. There are a lot of names I don't know, and I get the impression there's a lot of Leeds people in there. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy our chat, although you'll appreciate it's going to be Spurs slanted, but I'll certainly bring in Jess as much as I can and talk about Leeds and the individual performances. We would love it if you would hit the like button. That helps us, and the subscribe channel too. We do go out 3 times a week, and we have some interesting. I like to think we have some interesting discussions on here about football. So, please hit the like and subscribe button. But most of all, thank you for joining us tonight to listen. Tom, again, goalkeepers not catching the ball. I mean, what do you make of that?
Before I go into it, just a massive thank you to Sava because he's sent a load of people over from his channel in a raid as well. So big thanks.
Big up, Sava, mate.
Yeah, brilliant.
So big appreciation for that. But okay, so I spent one and a bit seasons as a goalkeeper helping my mate's team out, and they brought like a goalkeeping coach in just to when I first started and stuff. And I'm not even joking you. His first thing was, if you don't think you can catch it, push it away. It was like, he said, you're better off. This is literally what you're told now. You're better off trying to push it away than you are catching it. Because if you go for a catch and miss the catch, it's almost certain to end up as a goal. Whereas if you push it and flap at it a little bit, it might still end up in a goal, but it's you're still pushing it away. You're still less likely to drop it right in, an area where a player can storm in and things like that. I always tried to catch it, to be honest with you, because I felt confident in my catching abilities. But at that time, I mean, I'm not the tallest person in the world, especially for a goalkeeper. I'm like 5'9", 5'10", so it wasn't many times I was really going up for catches and stuff anyway. But it's a difficult one because for all the fantastic saves Vicario can make, and that is his biggest asset. He is a fantastic shot stopper. But that opportunity in the 6 minutes, like, it's not like he's gone for it and missed it. He's just sort of like waddled out, going, like, if he had just stayed in his goal, just stay in your goal, that would have been better. Like, not gone for it at all. Stay in your goal, be there to make the save. Don't sort of come out like, it just seems to be terrible at reading the flight of the ball, and yeah, just some of these, as Jesse said, he seems to sort of just palm a lot into dangerous area. I mean, we'll get onto it later. I mean, the one that I think it was the goal. I can't remember now, but where he palmed it out and stuff, and it ended up in a goal. I mean, yeah, you do have to kind of say a little bit that he done well to get anything on it, because he did get a deflection off of Van der Ven beforehand. But he does seem to have a habit of pushing things kind of straight back out rather than to the side. Like, try and push it literally to the side towards the corner flag, not back into the penalty area. I do think Vicario is a player that we should be looking to improve on, but I do think there's other areas that we need to worry about.
I'm going to cut you because I do want to have a chat about Vicario later in the show. I mean, I've raised that because I will come back to it with a referee, because there was some suggestions he was a little bit inconsistent. But tell goal, a deflection. Jess, from a Leeds point of view, talk me through that goal. I'm going to need to just pop off for a couple of minutes. Tom, will you host while I'm away? I'll hopefully be back in a minute.
Yeah.
Start with Jess.
Absolutely.
And I will be back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good goal by Tell, to be fair. I know it did take a nick off Strauch. It is what it is, isn't it? I thought that was a good goal from outside area for him, to be fair. 4 by Leeds, backed off. Strauch dives in right at last minute, takes a nick and it goes in. Is what it is,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But nice to see Tell get his
Yeah.
goal. He's took a lot of crap on here for the Tottenham fans. So it was nice to see him get a goal. Can't lie. Don't like to see it on players, so fair play to him. Took his chance. Took it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I don't think your defence did much wrong in that situation. Really, they got to throw themselves in front of that. You'd be more mad if they didn't try to make an attempt on that. Maybe Darlow could have done a little bit better, but again, the ball was travelling pretty fast in slow motion. It looks like he could have done better. But yeah, Callum, any thoughts on that goal from Tell?
I think even up to that point, Tell had quite a good game, to be honest. He'd sort of been... He was a handful, if you get what I mean. And he was making the sort of runs that Richie doesn't make. And he weren't doing a lot, but he was doing a lot of running about and going through the lines. And I felt that him and Simmons had good link-up play before then to sort of try and fashion like different moves out. And it was... Because the Leeds defence ain't exactly the most mobile either, and Jayden Bogle wasn't having much luck down that left-hand side, it kind of gave us a lot of space to then create goals like this. And you can't take anything away from Tell. With deflection, it was going on target anyway, and it doing the world of confidence. Because we've all been saying that there is a player in there. It's just what type of player. And this goal seems to be a special one for him. So no, I'm really happy. The goalkeeper didn't have much luck, to be honest, and it was just a really unfortunate deflection that came off of a Leeds player to put it in there. But good start, and it sort of put the winds up ourselves a little bit for at least 10 minutes afterwards until we know inevitably what we'll come on to next. I know.
Yeah. I'm not sure, as a Spurs fan, I'd call it an unfortunate deflection. It's definitely a fortunate deflection.
Well, for Leeds, it was for Leeds and Jess, it was unfortunate. But from our perspective, we couldn't give a toss. We're happy they went in, and we actually went 1-0 up for once after 4 or 5 games where we haven't scored first.
Yeah, and Adrian, I mean, there was a lot of talk before the game about Richarlison versus Tell, and one of the things I put in one of the groups was that I actually prefer Tell slightly, purely because of that he seems to get involved in the game more. He seems to actively look for the ball. He seems to make runs in behind the defence, things along like that. Finishing obviously is something that he is below Richarlison at, but for me personally, he just seems to look, he's a 19-year-old. He looks to want to get involved in the game. Have you got any thoughts on Tell's overall game as well as the goal itself?
Well, if Kudus didn't get man of the match, I'd have given it to Tell. And I'm so pleased for him. The goal would have done his confidence a world of good. I was delighted. Well, he did say in training that he'd been practicing his finishing, because I think he's been trying too hard when he's been given chances, which you get with new strikers. They need that goal, don't they? They need that first goal. Even if it comes off their bum, they need the goal. And then it was so magnanimous of Thomas Frank at the end of the game to push him in front of the Spurs fans, because he doesn't take our fan base much, to turn on a player. And he's technically better than Richarlison. In every department, he's technically better. Richarlison gives you the shit hours where he gets you the aggression. He's got bigger physique than that. And he will, he will do a job. But he's nowhere near good enough. And I'm really pleased that Tell played that well, because now Frank's got another option, right? And we can see another option, because we're stuck with Richarlison until we don't even know what Randall Colomani will bring to us, and we don't know. And we're hoping that Solanke will be back after the international break, and then they're going to need time. So,
Adrian, one of the things that's annoyed me, particularly against Bodo, with the team he played against Bodo, was every time we played the ball out, no one was able to hold it up, and the ball just kept coming back. I mean, I felt with Kudus, with Tell, particularly with Tell, when the ball came out, we were able to hold it and pass it, whether it was to Odobert, to Kudus, to Simmons, and that made us much, much, much more dangerous than against Bodo, where we just kept putting ourselves back under pressure.
Yeah, I mean, look, Frank didn't pick the team at Bodo to lose the game, so I'm not giving Frank stick over that. The players didn't step up. against Bodo, and we were lucky not to lose that game 4-0, right? So they didn't step up. So this is a bit different today. And actually, I thought Gray would start because players usually do well on their old stomping grounds, don't they? And they're familiar with the surroundings and they feel part of it. So I actually thought that Simmons would play on the left, and I thought Gray would be given a game in the team and that Bentancur would be pushed further forward like he used to pre-ACL injury, when he used to drive us up the pitch. So no, you can't knock Frank. We will critique players. We will critique the manager if we think he gets it wrong. But to be sitting where we are, we're so inconsistent. We can play well at Man City. We can play well at bring back goals against Brighton, who are tough to beat. We can go to West Ham and win 3-0. And then we can put in woeful performances. Even though we beat Doncaster 3-0, I didn't think we were good. I was there. It was a painful watch for most of the game. But Frank's he's still trying with different blends. He still sort of wants to say much experiment. He knows what players can do if they do what they're capable of doing. And again, it's all down to consistency, isn't it? So big up Peter Kagan.
Thanks, Peter. Jess, let me bring you back in. Calvert-Lewin, at 26 minutes, there were two chances within about 30 seconds of each other, but Calvert-Lewin balloons over the bar. That was a big chance for you to get straight back into the game.
Aye. DCL's a bit of a funny one regarding Leeds because we've not really got a lot up front, so we have to go with him, unfortunately, but he just still ain't fit for me. If we can keep him fit and get him fit, it will be a good thing, but I thought that was a poor miss by him, to be honest. He should have scored. A bit disappointed with that one.
This Leeds side, to me, Jess, looks significantly better than the side, for example, we beat, I think, 4-1 last match of the season before you went down. A lot better. But at the end of the day, boring cliche, it's goals that win matches. Is Calvert-Lewin going to get you enough goals to keep you in, comfortable mid-table, I think would delight most Leeds supporters? No,
he won't get us enough goals to get us in. It just won't. I think he's scored one this season. No, look, when we got promoted, we've gone the stance of strengthening the spine for Leeds. Unfortunately, the attacking front three, it lacks a little bit of quality. I thought Okafor's done all right, to be fair, from AC Milan, but yeah, I don't think DCL will get 10, 15 goals this season. I hope I'm proved wrong, but I just can't see it.
I mean, that was my worry watching you. As I say, knowing you were being a guest on my show, I was making notes frantically through the game and what have you. So I had the right questions for you. At least I hope I had the right questions for you.
Ian, can I just come in quickly just on that?
Please,
I mean, I watched quite a lot of Leeds last year, and I believe that you guys losing Bamford and Solomon, you probably lost about 30 goal contributions, haven't you, from your championship team?
No, because Bamford didn't score in 18 goals last season. Bamford didn't score and he didn't start. No, Perot were our main man last season. 18 did Perot. Solomon got 12. Did really well. I was gutted we didn't sign Solomon. I know it's a bit of a taboo subject, but I wanted him to be our first signing over the line at Leeds. It was gutting that we didn't get him, to be fair. Bamford, very injury prone. Didn't score in 18 last season. Daniel Farke told him at start of pre-season, you're not going to be in the squad, and they let him go out. They paid him off and he's in Spain, I think, at the minute, training with the La Liga team.
Cal, let me ask you another question then, seeing as you've come in. You've got an inside track on this. Why did Solomon not end up at Leeds?
They registered interest, but they never formulated anything. There was informal talks, and Solomon was interested to go there, but they never formalized anything. It was always they wanted to pay about 7 to 10 million. Spurs put a 20 million price tag on him, which realistically, based on the season he had, was within reason, realistic and all that. And Leeds were just tight over it. Farke wanted him. I mean, he even said about in one of his interviews in pre-season, he went, "We've lost Solomon, so I need to replace him." And I guess that's where Okafor came in. But realistically, Solomon has done Premier League football, and Leeds just didn't want to cough up the money. They wanted a cheap deal. Spurs wanted a realistic deal. So he ended up with the Yellow Submarine with that other idiot from down the road from us as well.
Yeah. Jess, was that a mistake on your board's part, not coming up with a realistic fee? I mean, Premier League footballer, international footballer, 15, 20 million doesn't sound unrealistic to me either.
Well, it don't when you paid £18 million for the centre-back, Bijol, who's never started a game for Leeds this season. It don't, does it really, when you look at it like that? I personally wanted him. I know Farker wanted him. He said it in numerous pre-season games. We've lost Solomon. We need to replace Solomon. We need attacking Nantes. And Leeds United had just spent, that's it there, 100 million they were done. They were nothing left in coffers. Yeah, the was tight. That would have been first player I got over the line. Can't lie. I like him. He won us the league at end of the day against Plymouth on that last game. If it wouldn't have been his goal, we wouldn't have been champions.
Tom, well, I'm going to bring you in. I mean, I've made a comment about Kudus because of 30 seconds later, Kudus had a similar chance, and as I say, ballooned it over the bar. But I'm going to come back to you on that. But I will bring you in on, 34 minutes because you raised this with Vicario earlier. 34 minutes, Okafor, it's 1-1. My first reaction was that was another really poor piece of goalkeeping. But my second reaction is he was dead unlucky because with that deflection from Van der Ven, it was much more difficult for him to do what I think he was trying to do, which was push the ball well wide of the goal, which is what, any first-year apprentice goalkeeper, 10-year-old goalkeeper would be taught to do. If you can't stop it, get it as wide or off for a corner.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing for me is, I don't think we all have the initial reaction of Vicario if he hadn't have made the mistake that he made at Bodo a few days before. I think in that situation we probably would have gone, we probably would have had that initial reaction. Then we would have gone, oh no, deflection, done well to set. It's just one of those things. But because of how piss poor that mistake was against Bodo, instantly we're all like, oh. And my worry was, first game I've been able to go to this year was the Wolves game, and I thought he was terrible in that game. He made a little mistake, and then from that moment on, he just turned back into the Vicario of last season, who couldn't kick the ball to save his life. Every kick was going out. He looked all over the place. He just had no composure, and it seems like then Bodo, that seemed to then move over to Bodo because he was flapping at stuff. He couldn't kick a ball properly, which was shocking to me because actually the first few games of the season, having spent the whole summer going, if Thomas Frank's going to be our manager, we need another goalkeeper who can actually kick and pass. He heavily relies on his goalkeepers kicking and passing. I was like, actually the first 5-6 games, I was like, oh, hold on, Vicario's distribution is seeming not amazing, but it's under wraps. He's controlled, he's picking players out. But he's made one mistake, and all of a sudden he seems to have gone back into Vicario of last season that can't kick a ball and flapping and stuff. But in relation to their goal, I actually think he's unlucky. I think he does well to get anything on it after the deflection from Van der Ven, especially from 6 yards out of that happening. It is, I think that is just unlucky. But I think it's as a result of how poor he was against Bodo and Wolves, has then just obviously given that instant reaction for that one.
Cal, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same lines as Tom. The problem is that we know from the last 2 years, Vicario's always got an issue in him one way or another. There is always going to be no perfect game with him. It's either flappy hands, shouting at someone when he makes a mistake. So I think people always overanalyze. Well, yeah, but it just seems more often with him that he fucks up and then he blames everyone else for his mistake and all that. At least with Lloris, he took a bit of sort of responsibility for it. But we've been so graced with goalkeepers who think they could be the top thing on their day, but then when they drop a clanger, they do it in style, and that's proper Spurs style, isn't it? It's a proper thing that's going to screw us up. But realistically, yesterday, I don't think he could have done much more from that deflection. It's the same with the Tell goal as well. That deflection, the Leeds keeper had no choice for it. But the problem is that what leads up to these mistakes from Vicario, him running into no man's land and then looking confused when he gets bounced or when he nearly headbutts his own goalpost as well. These are the things that don't help him as a keeper, and he needs to calm the hell down. He is so overexcitable. He's literally like a Duracell bunny's licked a battery and he just goes. He is so overreactive. I mean, I know goalkeepers can have flair and be extravagant, but he doesn't fill me with enough confidence, to be honest, to be our number one.
Adrian, we're going to talk about that after. But Adrian, before I bring you in on that particular subject, there's some comment in the chat, and that is one of the things is that Russell Martin has been sacked as Rangers manager tonight. That may have some implications, obviously, for Mikey Moore, who, as we say up here, hasn't exactly been setting the heather alight. I know he's disappointed a lot of Rangers fans. He's not running at defenders the way he ought to. So what implications that has, we'll see between now and I suppose the beginning of the transfer window in January. But Adrian, one of the things I read online was that Vicario was a typical pay cheap, pay twice. That instead of paying 20 million for Vicario, if we'd have paid the 40 million that Brentford wanted for Raya, we wouldn't even be contemplated looking for another goalkeeper now.
I think we were being messed about. I think because we messed other clubs about in the transfer market, they started messing us about. And with Vicario, yes, it's like players ballooning a ball. Where I'd give them, some credit in the bank is like it was wet, wasn't it? So catch or fist, in those sort of conditions, if you're not in the greatest form as a goalkeeper and it's raining like that, I don't blame any goalkeeper for not wanting to come and catch the ball. Right. So in that respect, okay, he pushed it out. He was unlucky. The two saves he made, they were exceptional. But he's got that in him, isn't he, to make those sort of saves. So we just coaches need to work with him, Ian. It's a goal. I mean, and then you're looking at goalkeepers out there. How many out there are better? How many of them are available? And let's be fair, we've got bigger priorities than goalkeeper. It is a priority, but we've got bigger priorities than goalkeeper. Right.
I'm going to just raise a couple of things. Ref watch, I think they call it that on Sky. There was my first reaction with the Leeds goal, the Okafor goal, was there were two balls on the pitch and therefore the game should have been suspended. But actually, it wasn't a ball; it was an inflatable, I think, that was thrown by somebody that wasn't interfering with the game. It wasn't interference by an outside agent, so there was nothing wrong with the goal. And then there was comments, and I mean, I don't know if anyone was watching on. What was BT, whatever, the TNT Sport. And I was really a bit disappointed with Darren Fletcher not knowing the law that Longstaff was taking the free kick on 40 minutes after having received treatment on the field. And the reason he was allowed to do that was because Paulinho, well, the referee got this wrong, Paulinho was yellow carded for the foul. And if the player receives treatment after an offence where the offending player is yellow carded, the player doesn't have to go off after receiving treatment. So for anybody looking at that, the referee got those decisions absolutely right. And I'm always disappointed as an ex-referee when the experts that are talking about the game don't know the laws. But anyway, Jess, there was some shouts that went up during the game, "You're not fit to referee." My view is, apart from a couple of moments of inconsistency, it was a tough game that he handled pretty well.
I thought the ref did really well, to be honest with you. I've heard a lot from my fans moaning about the referee. And I actually thought he was very consistent and had a decent game. One of the better referees we've had at Ellen Road, to be fair. I don't think he did much wrong.
I mean, my only complaint, there was a foul on...
The only one I will say we were lucky was the Ampadu challenge on. I don't know what we're on, but I thought he were lucky to stay on pitch. Ampadu, we went over.
That was on Porro.
I just thought that we were a bit lucky with that one. But other than that, I thought ref had a good game.
Well, I mean, I did, yeah. I mean, I've got a comment on that. I have to say, and again, as an ex-ref, I didn't think that was a red card offence. I mean, when the boy at West Ham went through Bentancur and Paulinho, who I can't remember who it was now. I'm looking at that and going, that's a straight red. As soon as I saw the tackle, there was nothing in that. But my only complaint was there was a foul. I think it was by Goodmanson on Kudus, which was similar to the one that Kudus got yellow carded for, and there was no yellow card. That was the only thing I thought that was inconsistent by the referee. That was the only thing I thought you've got wrong. I mean, people have different opinions, but I thought it was a tough game. There was no quarter asked, no quarter given. It was wet. It was miserable. Difficult conditions to play in. If they're difficult conditions to play in, they're difficult to referee in. And I'm with you, Jess. I thought the referee handled it really well. Tom, any thoughts?
I'm just sick of talking about referees, to be honest with you. Like, do you know, it's just every game there seems to be something to talk about the referees. It's just pathetic, isn't it? But look, I don't think there was anything in there that was particular. I think the card that Paulinho got, I actually don't think he even touched the Leeds player from what I saw on that. He wins the ball, doesn't touch the player. So the fact that he even got a yellow card, and then obviously that was where Longstaff was able to stay on to take the thing. But yeah, I just of all the games we've had, this is probably one of the ones where the referee was the least annoying to be fair.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just want. Look, I've said it on a few. I've put it in a chat comment on the show on Friday and stuff like that. I've put it in a few other things, but I just want the referees to be better and spend more time at training to be better referees on the pitch rather than worrying about sitting in a VAR box learning how to use technology. Train other people to use that technology. Let the referees learn how to be better referees. It just seems like a no-brainer for me, but it seems like it's a money-saving scheme to try and make the referees be the ones that are then forced into a booth hundreds of miles away from where the game's actually happening to try and use this tech. It's just silly.
Do you think they rely on VAR too much, Tom?
Well, no. The problem is that now they probably do. They probably go, if I get something wrong, or if I won't give a decision because VAR will give it. But then the problem is that VAR won't give the decision if it isn't absolute monumental mistake. So it's kind of like they're cancelling each other out. The referee won't give a decision because they think VAR's there to back them up. But then what VAR will actually do is kind of not give the decision as well because it doesn't want to overrule what the referee said because it's not a clear and obvious mistake. So it's just a vicious cycle of just stupidness. The referee should referee the game, and if they do something absolutely dumb, then the technology should be there to like back them up and say to them, look, you've got that wrong, go have a look. And this is my thing. Instead of VAR trying to make the decision for the ref, they should say, we think you might want to have another look at that. Send the referee to go and have a look at it. Let the referee make the decision. Don't even tell him what you think you might have seen. Just say, we think there's something there that you might want to have a look at. Go and have a look at it. And then let the referee make that choice. Okay, the downside of that is that you might get the referee going to the monitor a little bit often. But I'd much rather the referee be the one who's making the decision on the pitch because he's got the vibe of the game than someone who's like not even in the vicinity. And the whole point of the screen was so that the referees could view something from a different angle that they didn't see it and then be able to make the thing. The other thing that bugs me a little bit as well, sorry, I feel like we're getting into a VAR chat now, but the other thing that bugs me as well is when the game's being played, something happens, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden you see, VAR check, and everyone is like, what the hell are they, like, a team isn't complaining about a decision.
Yeah.
Like, so what the hell are we even trying to, like, it's like we're purposefully trying to go 30 seconds back in play to find the most niggliest thing to rule a goal out for or to give a red card for or something like that, when there isn't even a single team complaining about a decision, and it just seems mind blowing for me. That's why I would actually much rather it be a challenge system, so teams could challenge a decision rather than the referee, because then you give the power to the team.
We need consistency and clarity, though, because I'm as frustrated as an ex-fan, right? You're at the games, we're all at games, Leeds and whatever, we're all at games, and then you think, well, why isn't that clear and obvious? And then fans go, why hasn't VR stepped in on this one? And then we get Bodo Glint away, automatic offside, took them 5 or 6 minutes, right, to sort out Richarlison's fluky goal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is what gets us all. You know, I mean, we still struggle with the handball.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to
clarity.
have a VAR show tonight. But look like I started one.
Well, no, I mean, I was just going to say, Ian, like the fan experience in the ground is an issue when it comes to VAR, which again is why I think a challenge. If you was challenging a decision, everyone knows, okay, we're challenging this thing, we know what's going on. Whereas at the moment, you just see the referee with a finger in his ear, VAR check, and no one knows what the hell's going on. They're meant to obviously be explaining decisions and stuff like that as well. Now, Bodo, I don't actually think Bodo Stadium has the technology for the automated offsides. So that might be why that one took a bit longer. But it has also, they are semi-automated, which means that there is on the odd occasion when they're very close that they might have to do a bit of line drawing and stuff like that. But from a quick research I did during the game, I don't actually think Bodo has the technology to run the semi-automated anyway.
Yeah.
I won't lie, being in Championship, I do prefer it that way. VAR for Leeds, I preferred it when we were in Championship, but I will say that much because there's no VAR, so it will never run the...
Do you know what? I wouldn't dream of asking your age, Jess, but I'm old enough to remember, we all are, when the referee pointed to the spot and gave the goal, that was the end of it. You didn't need to, and you could celebrate the goal. I mean, it has sucked the joy out of a goal because you now don't know. And I mean, how often have you have alerts on your phone? The BBC flashes up a goal, and then 5 minutes later, correction, disallowed. I mean, this is that's
the thing.
As we know it.
We're not watching football anymore, are we? We're watching VAR and we're watching referees being either the centre of attention, or we're watching. I mean, VAR was meant to be one person with a computer screen. When we go to, they go, right, we're going live to Stockley Park to see this. We've got 20 people sitting there looking at screens. 20 people can't make a decision. It should be the 2 assistants on the field and the ref. And then the 4th official will be the one that takes all the shit from the managers and then calls the ref over, and then they get sent off. That's how it. But that's how the fun should have been.
It's done nothing to improve the game. I'm going to drop.
No, Ian, just this quick thing about the technology, right? Sky Sports and BT Sports, TNT, or whatever it is now, they hire people and I know one of these people who does this job, who has to be able to generate replays of the game literally as it's happening within 3 or 4 seconds. And Sky Sports can pick out in a matter of 10 seconds, they can pick out 4 or 5 different replays from different angles to be able to replay the thing. And that's because there's a person who is specifically trained to do that job. VAR have a guy who's a referee who has no idea how to do that technology, who takes half a minute to be able to find a replay of the thing. And it's like, well,
does he even know how to turn the computer? Does he even know how to turn the computer on at this rate? It's probably like Ian using technology and all that. We might as well put Ian on VAR.
Pay people who know how to use that technology to actually work it properly, and you can get decisions way quicker.
And it's when they miss stuff, Tom. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen them. So Jess has seen it, Leeds crowd have seen it, we've seen it at grounds when you go like, surely VR are going to take a look at that, and nothing happens. And you think, how can you not go and have a second look at that?
Well, I mean, I was watching Celtic on Thursday night, and Celtic had a goal disallowed.
When that was balmy.
There's a comment in the chat that Ian, that's not strictly true. I'm not quite sure exactly what I said. The linesmen used to get involved more back in the day. Mm-hmm. Now they're just glorified flag wavers, often checking with the ref before raising. There's different levels of communication. now, and I think they were their mic in the day they weren't mic'd up. Now they're mic'd up, and they say, that's a foul, or I'm giving the throw into Leeds or throw into Tottenham or whatever, with the which they never had before, which was sometimes why you saw the linesman pointing that way and the referee pointing that way, and they made them all look stupid with the microphones. That shouldn't happen. But if you want to see a VAR, a really bad VAR, go and look at Celtic's disallowed goal against Braga. I think Celtic were 1 down at the time. And had a goal disallowed for handball, which was on the say-so of the linesman. The linesman said it was handball. The assistant referee, it's given their proper title. The assistant referee said it was handball. The referee then disallowed it, and the VAR decided there wasn't sufficient evidence that there wasn't a handball, which there manifestly wasn't in my view, but he decided there wasn't enough evidence to overturn the on-field decision, which was handball, that was made by the linesman or the assistant referee, not the referee. In my view, the whole thing is a complete and utter mess, and VAR has done nothing to improve the game. And in a lot of
the
ways,
linesmen, they're there, aren't they, in throw-ins, like penalties on a flag across the chest or whatever, and offsides, and they're bottling the offside flags, aren't they? They seem to leave that to VAR. They're always raising their flags late. So they're
that's the instruction, Adrian.
Sorry?
The instruction is to not raise. If it's close, then they're told not to flag, so that if a goal happens, then it can be reviewed. Whereas if it's close and they flag and the game stops, and then you find out that they were actually onside, you can't just restart from that thing. So they're purposely told. The thing that bugs me about that is there is going to come a day where it's very obviously offside. The linesman doesn't flag under that instruction, and then a player's going to end up breaking a leg or getting a major injury that could have otherwise been avoided had the linesman just put his flag up. But it's an instruction.
Van der Ven had that about 1.5 years ago, wasn't it? In one of our games, how he pulled one of his hamstrings because it was a offside. I think it was the Chelsea game when he was playing them, and their goal was ruled offside. But he ran all the way the length of the pitch, pulled his hamstring for it then to be ruled offside.
But the other reason why he pulled his hamstring was because they did a 7-8 minute VAR check to send Romero off for a perfectly good tackle.
Muscles cooled down,
and then your muscles cool down, and then you've got to do a 50-yard sprint. Like, that's the other issue. That's probably why VAR could be a big reason as to why we're seeing so many more muscle injuries now, because it's so much more start, stop, rather than a flowing game, which makes your muscles relax and strengthen, and it's just not good for the muscles at all.
Going to move us on, Jess. Bit unlucky again. Another shot, another deflection, another ball in your net.
Yeah, but Kudus had a really good game for you yesterday, though. I can't lie. It was nice to see him get his first goal for Spurs. Actually, it's a shame that we're against Leeds, but we're a bit unlucky with deflections yesterday. But they were on target, and I don't think Darlow could have done aught about the two, if I'm honest, because I thought he made a really good save from Tell on 45th minute when he tipped it onto crossbar. So deflection, but Kudus gets his first goal. Yeah, I thought he made a good save off Tell there, to be fair. But unfortunate deflections.
I mean, I made a note for the show just before Darren Fletcher said on commentary. Actually, I was going, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win a raffle. And I think he said if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win a prize. But I mean, Kudus made his own luck with that, really, Adrian.
Yeah, he pickpocketed the defender, didn't he, to win the ball, and then like he slipped in and does what we know Kudus is capable of, and we want to see more of it. I think he's got like 7 games, 4 assists, 1 goal, and I joked about Wirtz has played all them games and only got a yellow card. Liverpool for 116 million. He's a steal of a buy. He's a fantastic player. Holds the ball up like Ginola. Another player you couldn't get the ball off was Moussa Dembele, and Kudus is one. He's like that as well, but they're totally different players. But what a bargain at 50-odd million, as far as I'm concerned. An absolute bargain.
Yeah, and then maybe that's the difference. Jess.
The quality in your front three compared to Leeds United's front three. It shows. That's that. Look, I know what we say about Leeds, but you do need that little bit of nous to score as well. And I thought we were competitive yesterday. I don't think we got hammered, which I was happy about. And I thought performance by Leeds were good, but it just showed you that little bit of quality gets you goals, and that's what Leeds are lacking at the minute.
Yeah,
but I'm happy where we are in the league. I will say that bottom three. So I'm happy.
I think you'll finish above that, but there is there's no getting away from the fact that the big clubs will spend the most money. Although I suppose we could have a debate about Liverpool and what they've spent. Wirtz and Isak. 240 million, and neither of them are firing at all. But that's a debate for another show, I suspect.
No, but you're right what you're saying there with Wirtz, because he's poor. I watched him again. I've got a keen following with Liverpool as well, and it's just not worked for him at the minute. Arne Slot does not know where to play him, and I just don't know if he's going to take a wee bit of time with him. I really do.
Yeah, he looks fantastic in the German league, though. He looks
brilliant. He looks a different player at Liverpool, though. Can't lie. I hope he does come good for Liverpool, because I wouldn't want to see that, but it's a big price tag on your head as well, that kind of money. Coming at Calvert free.
Sorry, Jess, it reminds me a little bit of Fernando Torres when he left.
I thought Fernando Torres did well at Liverpool, though. I can't lie. I thought he were a good player at Pool with Fernando Torres. I can't lie. Did really well at Pool. We'll see how it goes with him, but Liverpool are just in a bit of a sticky patch at the minute. It's just not
lost 3 in a row. I mean, I wasn't expecting that sort of last Friday night. But let's talk about Kudus, because I had a worry that Kudus, does he have enough end product? If you look at his stats with West Ham, and someone posted this online. I don't know, it wasn't you, Tom. I don't think it was you, Callum, either, about his numbers. I think it might have actually been Brian Daigle, if I remember, put something about West Ham's saying, 40 games, 4 assists and what have you. Good luck with that, Tottenham. We've robbed you. But that first goal changes, for me, it changes a lot, Cal. 7 games, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 goal involvements in 7 games. That's absolutely what you need, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we got Kudus just for his goals and assists, to be honest. We needed a bit of bite in our front line, if you get what I mean. Someone who was actually going to have a bit of a rough and tumble with defenders and put pressure on them, because a lot of our people are not direct enough when we do it. So I think that's one of the advantages you get with Kudus, where he is a shithousery flair player. He will do that moment of magic, but he'll also try and headbutt the defender on the way through, sort of thing. And that's kind of what we wanted from it. But I mean, his stats weren't great last year, but he was playing in a Lopetegui team who didn't know which way was up, and a Graham Potter team that was playing inside itself, if you get what I mean. But his season before that was great. And for Ajax, he led them through their Champions League campaigns for like 2 seasons. He was a pain in the backside in, I think it was Denmark, when he was out there with Michelin as well. So, I mean, we've got a player there, and a player who's not afraid to get his hands dirty either. So I think Frank probably sees him more to like develop him into a Sharda and then Burmo, people that can be converted into inside or front forwards. So no, I think we've got a good player there, and someone who can only get better, because what is he, only 24, 25? So
he's 25. Funny enough, I was just checking his age. 2nd of August 2000. So he's just turned 25. I mean, Tom, you would think he's maybe, even 2-3 years away from his peak.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the one thing that we thought we were missing last year, or one of the things we thought we were missing last year, is a player who could take on his man and drive at the defence with the ball. Well, Kudus has done that. He's taken on someone 30 times in the Premier League this season. The next closest player to him is Jeremy Doku at Man City, who's done it 17 times. So he's done it almost twice as much as other players. Look, if I only have one little criticism of Kudus, is that I wish he just did things one touch sooner. And actually, his goal, he took that shot at the perfect moment. you know, and if that's signs of improvement with working with Cochrane and Thomas Frank, of knowing when to release the ball better, then he's going to turn into an absolute monster of a player. Not just like in terms of like his take on, but his strength to hold up the ball, his strength to win the ball back, his willingness to do the defensive work as well. Like he really could turn into an absolute animal if he can just sort out. Like, I don't think it's a problem with his end product. I think it's just that having that, you know, sort of, I don't know what the word is, but just having that nous of when to release it. If he can build that more consistently, of just releasing it like that fraction earlier, or taking that shot that fraction sooner, he will turn into an absolute monster.
Tom, great. I'll stop you there because I want to bring Cal in, because I know Cal said he could do an hour and he's got to jump. But Cal, we were on a couple of WhatsApp groups today, and a lot of noise about players that, you know, that left side is still an issue for us. We haven't got Solomon, and nor of Leeds, but we're still struggling a little bit there. And there's been some names banded about us who we might go for. So I'll let you leave us with some hints for the January transfer window. We'll no doubt have you on again before that.
Yeah, there are a few. A few people have said Semenyo, massive money, 75 to 85 million that they want now. So definitely going to have to. He's appreciated by Spurs. I think he's got his heart set on Arsenal, so that one's probably going to be a long shot. But Antonio Nusa, who's from Leipzig, he's one that they like. There's obviously the links that come out to Tony today as a forward. That's only going to be a stopgap, if you get what I mean. But nothing special. Lookman is being driven by Paratici. But yeah, the main ones are going to be Nusa, Semenyo. We won't see Savinho unless there's a release clause in there. That deal was gone.
Are we still interested in Fofana or Cluj?
Fofana's still there at Monaco, and there's a couple of players in South America that's starting to look down there. Say like people like João Pedro style players like Savinho. There's that guy who was at Barcelona. I think it's Victor Roque as well. Spurs have got an active interest in him, and he can play across the front three. So these are all names that are coming about, but it's still priority. No, that's Paratici.
Right.
A question for you, Carl. Put it to the others later, because I want to get back into the game and get Jess in with certainly the lead subs that are coming up after this. But does the Levy family, as our owners are now called, does the Levy family need that statement signing to prove that that their money's where their mouths are in terms of being determined to get this club to the very top?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, it's a lot of people calling for fanfare and they want bells, whistles, banners up and down. Well, within reason, the Lewis family have coughed up between Simmons and Kudus over 120 million. They've committed a further, just say 10 million, including add-ons onto Kai. They've got an option for Paulinia at 30 million on someone over 30. They actively pursued lots of other players. So I don't think they need to. There is money there to be spent, but they want to spend it on the right player. And we know that Frank turned down Lookman. They looked at Mawani just as an opportunity, as a stopgap, because of realistically this stuff that was going on with Richarlison not leaving and Solanke. So there is players in there that they're going to want to get, but they're not going to just waste money now. And they know they've got players to come in as well from youth ranks as well. So they've got players across the pitch, and they want to spend a lot of money, but they want to spend it right. Because if not, it's just not worth it. And they're still looking at Adam Walton as well, and that could cover the sort of option for that deep lying playmaker as well in there. But it's big money. Yeah. So if we are going to do it, we're talking 60 to 70 million plus.
Big money.
We've got the money though, haven't we? Because they're actually Enoch they aren't really dipping into their own pocket, because what they're doing, they're borrowing 100 mil off the Australian banking group, of which 5 million will probably be interest. That'll leave 95 million to be spent on players, because it's not going to be 10% interest on that 100 million. So I think it'd be about 95 mil to go in January. And I was just wondering, I think we had a bit of a discussion in the WhatsApp group, Callum, didn't we? And I said, well, the World Cup starts on the 11th and it goes to whatever is in July. And last season's transfer window started on June the 1st. And I'm wondering if this one will start the same time, because the World Cup only starts less than 2 weeks later, which means we could actually, as you mentioned about the junior 30th, which usually contract time anyway for most players anyway, that although we could buy a Polinia, why buy him in January, keep that 95 million, and then you'll be in a different financial year, because from April to June is when them counts have to be done by clubs. You'll be in a different financial year. So we could park the bus on Polinia and use that 95 million to go out and spend. You could put 325 mil down on 3 players, couldn't you? Most we've ever brought in January is 2, right? So because it's hard, you only got a month, so.
Yeah, there's definitely options, and Spurs want to get the transfers right, though. They don't want bargain bin transfers. They don't want players that they think are just going to come in and faff about. They don't want to block development paths either. They still see Lancashire coming back into the team. They see Luca Williams-Barnett being integrated throughout the season, getting minutes here and there. They still see Mikey Moore coming in later on, and obviously they will review his stage where he is with Rangers as well going forward, whether this new manager comes in and he's a fan favourite by January, like how Donnelly was at Orient last year, because Donnelly is not playing for them. So there's all these different factors, but people are just throw money. They know there's players that they want out there, but they have to be able to buy them realistically. Because if you said to me, oh, we could go and buy Savinio, but we've now got to pay 140 million. Well, he's not worth it. We know Rodgers is still looked at, but he has been really, really poor for Villa this year. So unless we get a cut price deal, is it really worth stumping up the money for him? So it's all got to be done in the right constructed manner. And this is where Vinay is building his own recruitment team and his own management team to lead on it, with Langer, Peter Carrington, people like that, who are going to all be making decisions, with Vivian Lewis and her brother having an active role in it. So this is where the club is having meetings over the next couple of weeks to be able to look where we're going in January, but also for next summer, the following January, the following summer as well. Because remember, we'll have 3 homegrown players, all young players who are coming through, or players who are in the squad now who will be homegrown as well. Bergvall, Gray, Vuskovic. If they all qualify, then we solve homegrown issues as well, and we get players in to supplement that. So it opens up different opportunities going forward. But
Cal, I'll let you go, because I think it's one of those ones where there'll just be questions coming back and forward and what have you. We'll get back to the game. Probably not going to do a show next week, but we'll do one after the Villa game on the 19th. So hopefully see you then.
No worries, guys. Take it easy. Jess, nice to meet you. See you later, guys.
And then thanks to Harmless Potato, one of our regulars, for 5 memberships.
Yeah, big up, Spud.
Thank you, Spud. You like. Let me just go back to the game. 63 minutes, yellows for Romero and Okafor. Don't think anyone can argue about them. 2 players confronting each other, going head to head, no headbutt, yellow cards. But Jess, this is one of the things I really wanted to bring you in, and this is one of the things that worried me about Leeds yesterday. 67 minutes. Tanaka and Harrison come on for Stack, if I pronounce it right, Stack and Aronson. 79 minutes. Amicha and for Okafor, and Pirro and Amancha for Okafor and Goodmanson, and then 89 minutes Justin for Bogle. I don't know if I pronounced them all right. Tom always criticises my pronunciation, but one of the things that I looked at your bench before the game, and there's no game changers there. Harrison, if he was a game changer, would be a starter, and he's not. He's one of those players.
He'd have time for Everton if he were a star player, wouldn't he? I think it was something like 4 goals, 3 assists or something in 2 seasons at Everton.
Yeah.
4 player, but unfortunately we couldn't sell him. And
He's been a nearly player, Harrison. There's
It's an
plenty of
awkward
them
one
about.
because his mother slagged Leeds off last season, and like he clearly thought last season that he probably wouldn't be coming back to Leeds. It didn't
Right.
work out at Everton for him. His mum was slating Leeds off, and let's just say it's going to take a lot to win the Leeds United crowd back over for Jack Harrison. Unfortunately, just haven't worked out for him.
So
It's a
I mean
game
that was
to
my
be honest. He's not
impression.
worried when he comes on the pitch. You're not thinking, "Oh, we can do something to change a game," because he can't.
Yeah.
The only reason he stayed, facts, is because Barker rates his defensive work. That's why we let Ramazani go out, unfortunately, because he rates his defensive work. That's what your manager's saying about Barker. He should be creating goals, Jack Harrison. That's what he says. He more or less plays him at left back now. Crazy.
Yeah. Tom, do you? I mean, you follow, but we all follow the game closely. But are you familiar enough with these players to give any sort of view on them? I mean, there'll probably be some in the chat. I know there's a good few Leeds supporters in the chat, which is great.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know a little bit about like the Leeds team and stuff like that. Yeah, Aronson is a player who seems to be able to. Again, he seems to be very good at taking people on. He seems to get into good positions, but the end product just doesn't seem to be there consistently enough with him. I think Okafor was a brilliant pickup. I mean, I think he's a player again who, you know, he's 25 years old as well. He probably should have made more strides in his career than he has. You know, going to AC Milan, he had loan at Napoli and stuff like that, and it just never really ever kicked off. I mean, I think Spurs, we were linked with him actually last season and the season before, and I actually thought he was younger than he was, but I still think he'll be a very, very good pickup in the long run for you guys. Goodmanson really struggled.
Yeah, I thought it was worse
yesterday.
To be fair.
Yeah, he's quite a defensive defender, isn't he? And he just seemed to really, really struggle up against Kudus. Kudus just had him on strings. But I mean, there's a lot of defenders that will struggle against Kudus. To be honest with you, I was surprised you didn't play Tanaka because I think he's
I like Tanaka,
one of your best midfield players. To be honest with you, but I think striker is your biggest problem. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin 3-4 years ago, you know, he was a goal scorer, but he just couldn't stay fit. And the problem is if you can keep him fit, then he might get you around 10 goals this year. But is 10 goals really what you're looking for? I mean, it might be enough it'll be enough to keep you up as long as other players contribute and stuff as well. But yeah, it does seem a bit weird to me that, you know, Perot seemed to be your sort of go-to player last year for that forward position, and he just doesn't seem to be getting a look in. But the one thing I would say is I think Leeds have started the season pretty well, and especially considering how much talk as soon as you got promoted, the talk was, well, like, we need to get a better, or there needs to be a better manager. Farker's going to get sacked, like, before he's even got the chance. And actually, like, you're doing a pretty solid job. Like, you're winning the games you should be winning. You've won games that you probably wouldn't have thought you had won so far, and you know, you've put yourself in the top half of the league quite comfortably, to be honest with you. And I think as long as you keep picking up those results, I think you go. I don't think Leeds will get relegated this year. I don't think they'll even be close. I don't think they'll get dragged into it at all, because I think there's teams who are far worse.
Yeah.
The one problem is if your teams like your West Hams, like your Nottingham Forests, like those sort of teams, they suddenly like click, like those, because they've got better players, but they're just not a better team. And if those players suddenly start clicking for those, then that's when you might start getting dragged down into it a little bit. But I think Darlow as the backup for your new keeper that you've brought in, I think is solid. If you still got Meslier there,
yeah,
he was on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, because I remember when you guys first come into the Premier League, everyone was ranting and raving about him, about he's going to get a big move, but he's just fallen off a cliff, isn't he?
He's shocking. If he would have got dropped when he did last season, I don't know if Leeds would have gone up. He's got so many mistakes in him as Meslier. It's unfortunate, but no.
I was
Yeah.
desperate for us to go for him a year and a half ago. Desperate. I thought.
No, you don't want to.
Jess, I thought he was the best young keeper in the world.
Yeah, so did Leeds. Look where he is now, third choice keeper. He's got so many. You think your keeper's got mistakes in you? You want to watch some of his calamities last season. Gary May cost us at least 11 points last season from his mistakes.
Sorry, there's many white coats at my door want to take me away for saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, he just went off something awful, didn't he? I mean, there was a game, I can't remember watching it, where it was like putting a schoolboy in there.
Yeah.
He was. I don't know what game it was.
Can't deal with pressure, can't Mesley. When he's under pressure, he falls apart. And unfortunately, last season, listen, he should have been dropped a long time ago. Farker stuck with him in it, and it were kind of said to him, "You either drop him and play Darlow, or you won't be here next season." He has give a lot of points away. I think if I counted it up, it's probably more than 11, maybe 15 to 18 points he cost Leeds from his mistakes last season. I like Darlow. I think he's a decent second choice. But Perry's a decent keeper, but he's another one that's come in and he's been injured most of it.
Yeah.
Another big £18 million paid for a goalkeeper that's been injured quite a bit, which is worrying.
Adrian, let's bring you back in on this. I mean, I'm very much with Tom. I think, there may be 12th, 13th, 14th Leeds. Don't think they'll get much higher than that, but I don't see them as a relegation side either.
I don't either. Not if they show that spirit. They'll be fine at home. Teams will not like going to Leeds, right? And even we didn't enjoy it, and the weather didn't help. All right, it's the same for both sides, but even when it's a sunny day in Leeds, which might be rare, I don't know, but it's a hard place to go to. Throughout history, and we haven't got many wins there. Right, which is understandable because they were a top team back in the 70s and that. No, I mean, I think they'll survive. I think there's worse teams. I think it's funny, because you get this bounce from some teams like Brentford have sold players and they've gone up and they lose to Man City today 1-0. And like West Ham and Burnley and Wolves look awful. Right, you've got that. Fulham may drop down into the mix as well. I can see Leeds finishing 6th and bottom. And that's what you want to consolidate in your first season back.
Absolutely.
When you come up, you'll get these dreams, didn't you? Like, oh, yeah, we're going to get Europe and things like that. Please calm down. Let's not happen.
A lot of our fans are like that, to be fair. No, we're going to finish in top 6. Listen, if we finish 17th and stay up, be grateful and we build from there. That's my philosophy on it. As long as we stay up, I'm happy.
It's a bit like jukebox jury. We're all voting you a hit. You're going to stay up, Jess. Let's hope that when the return game comes at Tottenham, we'll get you back on and you'll be safe. I don't know when that game is. I know February or something like that.
No, it's in December. It's not that far away.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
Have you got is there enough pace and bite in your side?
No.
I
mean, Dan James were fantastic for us in Championship last season, but another one that's come into it this season, hit and miss injured. Nonto started really well, again injured. It's just the attacking now for me for Leeds, because I think solidly defensively we do all right, to be fair. I think we've done really, really well. But I just worry a little bit that it's going to cost us not getting a strike.
Do you think, Jess, sorry to butt in, but do you think if Willie Nonto gets fit, do you think he becomes your left winger and then Okafor becomes your striker?
Yeah, I'd like to see
that was his kind of, well, he predominantly played left wing throughout his career, but he strikes me as one of the reasons why he came to Leeds was to play as that kind of striker role that he's been longing for, really, Okafor. And he's fast, he's strong, like he's got all the attributes to succeed in the Premier League, and like, I mean, I really like I was about to say I really like Willie, then I really like Willie Nonto, but I think he's very, very good player. But obviously I know there was a bit of he wanted to leave at the beginning of last year and it took him a little while to get back in.
His age is here, sort of, trying to pull for a move. But what I will say for Wilfried Nonto is Daniel Farker had a word with him. He pulled his socks up. He grafted hard last season, and from what I've seen of him this season, he's looked all right for us. He's changed the mentality of reacting to things like he used to do. And I do like Wilfried Nonto because we only paid $5.5 million for him, and I think that's good money for him. I do rate him. He's just been a bit injured with prone this season, a bit like Dan.
Yeah, when Paratici was our director of football, we was linked with Nonto quite a lot before he moved to you. And I think a lot of us obviously passed him off because it was like, never heard of him, and also he's like 5'3". No, thank you.
Football fans, Adrian, want to moan, and Spurs fans, you know, we don't complain. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. As I said earlier, but I'm just comparing and contrasting our changes with the Leeds changes. So we bring on Sarr of Senegal and Richarlison of Brazil for Xavi of the Netherlands and Tell under 21 international. Danso of Austria for Odebeer, another French under 21 international, and then Johnson of Wales on for Kudus, who for me man of the match. I mean, to me that was the difference. Although people say these players aren't good enough, they are significantly better than most clubs can call on. And at the bottom line, you've got a bench full of internationals and under 21 internationals.
We're still looking for the right blends, you know, because Frank can't rely on, you know, one particular midfield three. He's got to make successful blends, and the same with the forward line. I was actually quite pleased. I know Kudus did ever so well. I was actually quite pleased with the understanding between Udogie and Odegaard. And Odegaard was coming back as well, and he was helping to defend and things like that. And I thought, this looks a bit better. I mean, with Udogie, you've still got his decision making in the final third. Like Tom's alluded to the same thing with Kudus, when I think he should go down the right hand side a bit more and then try and win a corner or something, rather than keep cutting back in, which he loves to cut in, but he scored a goal. So who am I to criticise him, really? But yeah, I mean, look, this squad we've got, we moan about it. Listen, Spurs fans, we won the championship, we won the Premier League, right? We'd still be moaning, saying, we need a left back or we need a centre. We would, because we since Poch, you know, and then the seasons where we finished second, third, and fourth, and he changed the whole outlook at this club regarding European football and getting Champions League football. Then we finished 6th, 7th, 4th, and 8th, I think it was. So when you could see we're on the slide, nothing was done by it. And we didn't get a player for 518 days under Poch. You know, didn't bring a player in. But it's changed now. We've done with what our class always say, we have failed better in the transfer market, and it is a good squad of players. But there are a lot of players in this squad that are still developing, and fans have run out of patience, you know, and that's why they moan, and they're entitled to moan. You know, some of it I think is a bit harsh, you know, over the top, but that's only my opinion. But yeah.
Let me bring Tom in on that, because I've got a question for Jess from Audio Artisan in the chat. I mean, much as we moan, when you look at other clubs, and Leeds being an example, the players we were able to bring on, and particularly a player like Danso, and going with a back five to really protect the lead is way better than most clubs can call on, Tom.
Yeah, 100%. But I still don't think we shouldn't moan about wanting better players. You know, okay, yeah, we were able to bring on those players, but Liverpool were able to bring on a player who cost 130 million. Like they got two strikers at their club, which total, you know, the best part of 200 million and stuff like that. And so, you know, you've got aim high and aim ambitious, because if you don't, then you go 518 days without signing a player, and your club suffers for the next 3-4 years as a result of it. And also, Leeds and Tottenham are in massively different parts of the development and where they are in things. You know, we're a team who are wanting to become a top 4 stable in Champions League football, and then start challenging for those titles, whereas Leeds have just come up into the Premier League and want to just solidify in the Premier League, and then they can start looking upwards and stuff. So the only way that you could improve as a team is by improving your players or improving your coach. So, you know, okay, yeah, bringing on the players we did, you know, definitely helped solidify things for us in that game. But if you were looking for a goal, you know, against Liverpool to win the FA Cup, and you're bringing on Pap Sarr or you're bringing on, you know, Archie Gray and stuff like that, is that really the players you want to be bringing on? If you're bringing on a Richarlison to try and win you a game in the biggest game of your life, that doesn't really fill you with lots of confidence, does it?
In that context, I don't think anyone would argue with that. Jess, let me move it on then. The question from one of our regulars, Audio Artisan. Jess, are there any gems in the Championship from last season that you rate?
I wanted Philogene from Ipswich when they got relegated. I do rate him. I think he's a good attacking player. We're always linked with Josh Sargent. He's a striker at Norwich. Does very well in the Championship. It's probably a striker who can score goals that we could have done with. But we seem to have looked in the overseas market leagues. We didn't really do a lot. We spent a lot of time trying to get the Fulham striker, and it just didn't happen. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. There were another player linked, Gustavo Hamer at Sheffield United. I personally didn't want him at Leeds, but he's a player that's got a little bit about him, I suppose. I didn't personally want him, but we were all linked with him. But they didn't look really down there. Leif Davis, a decent left back down at Ipswich as well. But yeah, Josh Sargent were linked. And I don't mind Finn Aziz. He's at Southampton. I think he's quite a decent player. But we didn't look really down there. But there's a few gems down there, yeah.
Jess, what's your take on Hayden Hackney?
I'd have took him at Leeds. I rate him very much so. I really like him. The Wolves were looking at him on the Ipswich got a deal on.
He wouldn't go for 20 mil.
He wouldn't go, would he? Yeah, I'd have took him at Leeds, but there were no links with him at all regarding Hackney. We're linked a bit with Wolves, I think.
Okay. I think I want to go back to the Porro thing, to the Vicario thing. Pirro's save. I mean, for all our criticism of Vicario, that was a world-class save by any standards, Jess.
Yeah, well, yeah, he redeemed himself, didn't he, with that save? Let's be honest, because it could have been 2-2. I thought that was a very good save. I was gutted, to be fair, because I predicted 2-2 to start with, and redeemed himself for that. I can't lie. Made 2 really good saves, one with his feet as well. That kept you, got you 3 points at the end of the day. Is what it is, isn't it? You know, I thought that was a really, really good save by him. Is it
fine margins, Jess? Fine margins in some of these games.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Sport.
But I'm not disappointed with Leeds' performance yesterday because I thought we were competitive, and I thought, do you know what? Out of what games I watched yesterday, I actually thought the Leeds Tottenham game was the best game that I watched yesterday. It was a really decent game, and I'm proud of my team's performance against you guys because everybody said, "Oh, you're going to lose 4-5-0," and I thought, we can just lose 2-1. I'd take it. I'd take a draw now, but I was really happy with Leeds' performance, and I can't lie, if we can keep that up all season, if we just stay up by it, a skin of his teeth, I'd be so happy with that for Leeds this season. Next season.
I did put a banner up, not to be cheeky with Ian, right at the bottom, Ian. I don't know if he wants to talk about it, but your next 6 games are not.
Adrian, just I need a break. Could you just that's fine. You okay. Deal with that. I'll put that up.
These are your next 6 games, Jess. I don't know if you've looked that far ahead, and I'll bring Tom on this as well. The first 2, Burnley and West Ham, you should be looking at taking points from these 2.
I'd like to take 6 from them games.
Yeah. And then obviously Brighton can be very good on their day. Forest, they lost again. So
it depends if Angie's still there
or not. I don't know what the confidence like of those 2 clubs at the moment, but like we've got Villa next anyway. So and we always do well at home against them. All right, Man City, well, you know, you get your prayer mats out for that, right? You know, you get your prayer mats out.
We have done Man City away in previous, but that'd be a free hit for Leeds, I suppose. If we were looking at it, or Farker were looking at it, probably look at 3 points at Burnley, 3 points against West Ham. I'd take a draw right now at Brighton, but we'll probably lose that one. Depending who's in charge at Forest, I'd like to take at least a point from that game. Villa are very hit and miss on the day, so I'd take a point from that, and I'd say Man City were a free hit. Probably no points. But if we can get 3, maybe 8 points out of them 6 games, I'd be quite happy with that.
Tom, from an outsider, we all see, when we look at other teams' fixtures, we see them from a different angle because we're not involved. So we don't get passionately biased about it. But how do you see Leeds doing over these 6 games?
I think anywhere from like 7 to 10 points is realistic and good in that respect. Like which one specifically you get them from, I think is a bit like for you guys. Actually, it's more about just getting points as opposed to worrying about who you're getting them against. Whereas from our perspective, it is a case of getting points, but like trying to take points away from the teams we're competing with for the top 4 is almost as important as just picking up points as it is. But for you guys, it's just picking up points, isn't it? Like to solidify yourself in that position in the Premier League. So I think, yeah, if you can get like 7 points out of that stretch of, I think you'll still easily be mid-table, if not higher. And put yourself in a really good position. And like you said, City's a free hit. Like you go into that game, which is like with no problem, especially like away from home and stuff as well. West Ham are a funny one, aren't they? Like I think now that they've got Nuno there, I think they're going to become defensively a lot better. So that could be a challenging one. Brighton on their day are fantastic, but they have off days quite often. Forest, I mean, who the hell bloody knows? Like, yeah, like I said, it's going to depend on whether or not Ange is there or not. But also by then, Ange might start getting a bit more of a tune out of them with certain things. I don't know. I think they're a bit of a, and yeah, Villa have been very hot and cold as well. But yeah, I think if you can come out of that with, like I said, anywhere from 7 to 10 points, I think you've done very, very well, and that'll be decent from that.
I'm going to hand it back to Will. How do you think they'll do over these games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that. Burnley away, you wouldn't expect them to get beat. West Ham home, it's a game I would expect Leeds to win. Brighton away, probably get beat. Forest away, who knows where Forest will be at that point. But Villa home, Villa have hit some form. I mean, the thing is, you could have 4 points, you could have 10 points, but Man City away, always difficult. Look, I mean, people talk about 40 points being the relegation target. West Ham were the last club, I think, to go down with 40 points 20 years ago or something like that. Realistically, 32, 33 points is usually enough. If you average a point a game, you're usually way safe. I mean, we had 38 points last season, didn't we? Finished 17th.
Oh, I can't remember.
I mean, it was disgraceful.
I've tried to remove it from my memory, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, tell me about it. We might have 38 points by Christmas the way we're playing. But, I think Leeds will be all right. I do think Leeds will be all right. But that's quite a tough run of games.
They're always tough. Every game's tough. But I think they'll be all right because, like, when you can have big teams go down, I remember Nottingham Forest being relegated before, and they had a good team. But if the confidence goes throughout the squad, suddenly you crash, you're in a nosedive. And I think West Ham are well in danger of that. I think Wolves and Burnley are well in danger of that. Then you don't know what's going to happen with Brentford and Fulham, right? They're going to be in the mix. Forest have got a big squad. They should, and Villa they'll pull away. They'll pull away. Man City, no problems. But that doesn't matter. It only matters when you play them, whether you get a result against them, whether it's a draw or a win. And I can see getting 6 points from the first 2 games. Brighton away, they're as inconsistent as we are. Forest, they're in a bit of a nosedive at the moment. So then you get the bickering and the morale in the squad dips a bit and people pointing fingers at each other and it all starts to get a little bit prickly and nasty. And will Ange survive or go? Villa.
Ange may not survive tomorrow. Apparently, he's got a meeting with Marinakis. I mean, who knows with that man? And who knows who Forest might get in if they sack him as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I mean, you'd have to be a brave manager to go and work there.
Probably an unemployed one. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah.
What manager of quality that's in work would even contemplate that job?
Yeah. Yeah, Southgate's not doing nothing.
Oh, don't. I mean, I mean, Jess, what I mean, we've got another international break, so it's 2 weeks. We all hate them. I think most of us hate them. What are your hopes for the season?
Just to stay up, mate. That's my only hope this season, is just to avoid relegation and avoid that norm of the 3 teams that get promoted, go straight back down. And I'll take 17th place now and Leeds safety. I'm happy. We move
on that, the 3 teams that have come up have got more points than 3 teams that have got before that have come up. Look at Sunderland. Doesn't mean they won't nosedive. I mean, they've started well. Usually, the 3 teams that come up, they have a couple of games, first couple of games bounce, and then they're struggling, I think you got the spirit there. I think the danger for the other teams I mentioned is I think their confidence is knocked, so it's unpredictable, but I think Leeds will be fine, actually.
Yeah, I do too. Jess, we're probably just at the wrapping up stage. There's always 100 things we can talk about, but got you on at the beginning. No doubt there'll be a lot of different people on now than were here at the beginning. People come on and off streams. So that's where people can find you, is it? JSY at JSY Talks Football.
Indeed, that's my channel. Yeah.
When do you go out?
All the time.
I stream every day, mate. You know me. I'm always doing watch-alongs or quizzes or something. There's always something going on my channel.
Yeah,
always busy.
Brilliant. I know, and it's been fabulous having you on.
No, thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah. It's been a great guest. It's actually my first time having an opposition fan on my show and having to work the show to fit in with that club's agenda as well. So it's been good. It's been fabulous. Really enjoyed having you on. Are there any before we wrap up? Anything we want to raise from a Spurs point of view, a Leeds point of view, Adrian?
Only thing I'll say is we've got the international break. We always dread it. We always love our football because we're selfish because we're in the Premier League, right? And we don't like these breaks. But the positives with it are it means we get players that are injured back after the break. I mean, we don't know what we're going to get from our Japanese centre back. Dragusin will be back. Solanke has had a minor operation. So I imagine he'll be back as well. So
and Kulusevski's not that far off, another month.
I think he'll be back in November. I think he'll be back mid-November. But I mean, you're talking about giving a player like 20 minutes to start off with, and you're not going to throw him in 90 minutes and things like that. So it's looking good going to January. And then the problem is you've got to add Kulusevski as a foreign player to the Champions League squad. And if we bring any foreign players in, they're not coming unless they go in a Champions League squad. So then Frank's realising what it's like to play a game every 3 days and being able to manage and pick those players for that squad come January. But that's thinking a bit too far ahead of the international.
Probably is, yeah. Tom?
Yeah, no, I just want us to I'd like to see, now that we've built a bit of a solid base, which was something we were severely lacking last year, let's be real, but we seem to be a bit more consistent, a bit more solid with our defence and stuff. I'd just like to see us be take a few more risks, like getting the ball through the middle of the pitch. And I think because at the moment it's all kind of horseshoe football. It's all kind of going from right back to left back, right back to left back, right back, and then try and go to the wingers and through. I'd like to see a bit more through the middle. And actually, I feel like to get that, keeping Simmons as that number 10, building around that. And if that means that you have to play, Odebear as a left winger, then give him the minutes. Give him the minutes to try and make something work from that. To be honest, I still think Richarlison's a better left winger than he is a striker. I wouldn't actually mind seeing Richarlison.
I don't want him. What I want to see.
I don't want him, but I would prefer to see Richarlison on the left than I would to see him through the middle.
Adrian, if you went with Solanke in the middle, because that's Solanke in the middle, Richarlison left, and Kudus right. That's
That
not
would work. It would work.
worst forward line you could have.
He played a lot on the left, didn't he, at Everton as well?
Yeah, I
What-
think
that was
he's
his
better on the left
position.
than he is at centre forward.
What I want to see in, which Tom alluded to, and you've all alluded to earlier, even Jess and that, I want to see Vicario distribute the ball quicker, not diver. So when he does not kick it long out of touch, that when he passes it to one of our defenders, he doesn't pass it to them when they're under pressure, because he causes that problem. If in doubt, the old saying, whack it out, right? Do that, because I think, look, he's got better from corners and that is coming. All right,
No, it's
very
not that
wet
one.
against Leeds and all that. He has got better. He has improved a bit in that way. His distribution is still poor.
That was what I was looking for. Why can't thanks, Drula? Why can't someone send money to the channel? Yeah, I'm sure you can. But
Yeah, you
Drula,
can
thanks.
become a member
Enjoy
for
it tonight.
$1.99. We only have one type of membership, the cheapest one it allows, which is $1.99.
Yeah.
And for those 106 of you in here, we haven't plugged the channel, but in the bottom
go on, Adrian. Let's do
in
that.
the bottom right hand corner, there's that red subscribe button. If you can subscribe, and you can become a member if you want to. You can find us on Facebook, and it's a pity me and Ian have struggled to get our Facebook followers, which I started that channel when the stadium opened in 2019. It's got 14,500 members. I wish we could get them over on here. We get an average on there of about 4,500 to 5,000 a month on the computer generated insights. So they're active. They're not dead. They're not all bots or clones. There's probably some in there though.
I've approved about 10 applications today to join.
And we got XCOM. We're on XCOM. 3,250 on there. That isn't going up. That grew quite well, you know. And we've got the WhatsApp channel, and we've got the Discord channel, which is good, because if you guys come on Discord, a lot of you will be ex-gamers out there. I am as well, right? If you come on Discord, it's a lot easier for us to get your details by direct message, get your phone numbers and exchange them, and then this is why I started it, because then we can use that as a sync to get guests on the channel, you know. So there's that. So a big up to everyone in the chat. You know, big up to everyone in the comments. A very big up to Jess and her following that have come over to us today.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll get you back, Jess. I'm sure we'll reciprocate and come on your channel whenever you want us. Yeah, and you know, a big thank you to all of you who support the channel, and a very big up to those of you who watch us on playback. You know, the first Spurs fan base is fantastic. It's better. I mean, Klinsmann summed it up, didn't he, when he said there's something unique about this football club. Back to you, Ian.
Yeah, no, just thanks to everybody that's watching. As I say, do hit the like and subscribe button, please. Thanks to Jess, and a reminder that that's where you find Jess. We wish Leeds all the best. I say I was born in Leeds, so
well, good luck to Spurs this season. I hope you as well for
Leeds United. So I'm hoping that hope Leeds have a decent season. It's one of the, and Yorkshire, never mind about Leeds, Yorkshire needs a Premier, the biggest county in the country needs at least one Premier League football club. It's ridiculous when Yorkshire doesn't have a single Premier League football club. Thank you all of you for watching. Thank you all of you for your comments in the chat, and your support of the channel as ever. Adrian, are you going to do a show Tuesday?
No, I don't want to do a show just for the sake of it.
No.
We've got a bit of soul music to play you out with, as I've made about 36 tracks.
I'll certainly be back 2 weeks tonight with the follow up to the Villa game. As we say, Jess, come on, you Spurs.
See you in the back room, guys. See you in the back room.
Yeah.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul, lily white and navy blue.